Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I've got an idea, which I'm gonna set in motion right now, and that is I'm gonna create a couple of new armies. One of them is going to be a small reserve force, which will help us fight small wars. And we'll locate this one in Brazil, same as we've been doing. Needs a commander. Neither of these guys is great. I'll grab this guy just to have something to do with him. Okay, we got a, oh, he's an anarchist. Interesting. So, this is going to be largely a reserve army. So we're going to have a small base force, maybe 10-5-5. Maybe 15-10-5. Actually, that's how we're going to do it. 15-10-5 for this army. So, doink, doink, and doink. There's 15. And for artillery, we want just a few, a couple of these areas. And for cavalry, not there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then we're going to create a moderate-sized reserve conscript force for this army, and that force is going to be, I think, 30 and 15. Actually, maybe 30 and 10, just to make sure we don't outrun our capacity. So let's see. Oh, that's right. We're on pretty tight conscription limits here. So this will operate largely out of our lower population areas. And that'll be... So it's 15. And then we'll throw in a couple more. 1 and then 5, 3, and 4, and 5. And then, so this is going to be the first Brazilian Reserve Army. And the idea of this one is it's just going to be a force that we can... Ooh, oil and Bolivar. Excellent. This is just going to be a force that we can mobilize in the event of wanting to use our field armies elsewhere, and of like having a small army in a situation that grows into a big war. But then I'm going to create another army. Locate that in Brazil as well. We're going to call this the second Brazilian Reserve Army. And this one is actually going to be huge. And it's going to be built out of our high population areas. So let me see. We're going to do the same basic pattern. It's going to be built in the north. And artillery as well. And then cavalry. Those in fact will start flying. There's the revolts. Let me just quickly get my naval invasion going, and then I'll continue working on this. So Armada Nacional is going to invade. I can't invade anywhere. But I also can't transport anywhere. This is very silly. I've made an extreme mistake. Okay, well anyway. I guess we're not going to war over there after all, so let's go ahead and demobilize. No, we'll keep the 4th Brazilian mobilized for now. just to make sure, in case some weird chicanery happens. Tell you what if we bankroll the Hudson Bay Company? 0.28k? Absolutely. Have a little cash. Alright, so then this second Brazilian Reserve Army, we're going to put a commander in here. This is our intelligentsia guy. He's a traditionalist commander, so his command limit's pretty high. And then if we can get someone else... Ooh, you're very good. Okay, this army is full of communists of various stripes, but that's alright. And then we're just going to put an absolutely massive reserve in here. 5, 5, 4, and 6. We're going to put 5 from here, 5 from here, 5 from here. Yeah, we'll do more. 5 from Panama, and 5 more in Syria. And then for artillery, we'll do like a third of that. 2, 7, I think that's 9. That's 19. I'll put one more level in Basho, Paraguay. And basically, for our main armies, we'll cut their conscription completely. And all of our conscripts will be located in this second reserve army. And what it means is that these armies won't necessarily increase indefinitely in size, but the second Brazilian reserve army will be absolutely bananas. And then for the first Brazilian army, we'll add a few more sets of reserves just to bulk it out. So what this means is that these reserve armies will be pretty strong, and in particular the second will have the capacity to become this just absolutely massive force of reservists. And that's kind of what we want out of this army. Is the ability to marshal just an overwhelming amount of force here. One more. Who did Austria just side with Britain against peasant revolts in the Cape Colonies? Alright, that doesn't bother me much. And we'll go ahead and throw all of these barracks at the top of our queue just to get them built and ready to go. So then we'll be able to, like, if we get into like a massive war with a major, we can mobilize the reserves of the second army, and if we get into a moderate-sized war, we can mobilize the reserves of the first army. And however we go, we can have the capacity to build up a lot of force, but we won't necessarily have a lot of force immediately mobilized all at once at the beginning of what we're trying to do. And that's going to be important, in my humble opinion. So, we've got a bunch of barracks queued in, and then after that, we got ports, which are not actually that crucial. I don't need to build up this many ports in Rio de Janeiro. Maybe 4. Because we got a lot of convoys here, and I don't necessarily want to be in a situation where I'm massively overbuilding convoys. And then we're just building tooling workshops, which we're going to continue to export to Great Britain. So yeah. So that's good overall. Alright, so these armies are filling with manpower. And we're gonna see if this winds up being a good idea or if it just winds up being silliness. I'm gaining gold at an alarming rate. And I'm well over my reserve limit, so I think that's actually a good indicator that I can increase the size of the construction sector once again. I am getting a huge pile of taxes from my various bankrolls, so I need to be a little bit cognizant of that. But I don't need to be that cognizant. So we'll build another 10 levels of construction sectors, and that'll be good for us. So we'll build a couple in Sao Paulo, a couple in Basho, Paraguay, a couple more in Antioquia, a couple more in Ecuador, and a couple more in Amazonas, because that's actually a huge place in our customs union as it is, and we'll throw these in the top as well. And after that, we're going to need to build up some infrastructure. Let me take a quick run at my... okay, I am using steam trains for my railways, so that is what I should be doing. We got a few places that are a bit low on infrastructure, so we'll build those up. Oh my goodness, Rio de Janeiro is really low. Minas Gerais is pretty low as well. Now let's say Baixo Paraguay could definitely use a few more. La Paz could use a few more. Already building up those two. Mato Grosso could use a few more. Goiás could use one. Accra could probably use one. And that should be fine. That should be completely sufficient infrastructure increase. Moving right along here. Defamatory article. A newspaper called the Minas Gerais Herald has printed a bigoted article about the Lunda people living there. We can suppress the article or we can let it be released. He threw the tabloid across the table with a huff. Absolutely vile lies, the lot of it. Alas, that won't matter to those who read it. They'll gobble it right up. He eyed the shocked maid's face, then read it himself. Of course they'd believe it. He hadn't given them any proof to the contrary. Reduced authority or reduced standard of living for Lunda people in Minas Gerais. Lunda people are who? I'm going to suppress it. You can't have that. That's going to reduce my authority. So we'll repeal the consumption tax on tobacco. I can keep doing more of that later. We're completely fine from a cash perspective, so I can completely afford to be suppressing interest groups and all that. I can probably turn off actually my Greener Grasses campaign in Panama at this point. And we'll put that thing back in there. Because I know tobacco is like a huge consumption tax, and I don't want to live completely without it. Let's see. We are suppressing the industrialists. We are suppressing the landowners. If we can get a little bit more good suppression on the landowners, we can make them marginalized, and then we won't have to worry about them any longer, which will be nice. And it'll save us 200 authority, which will be good for our finances in the long run, assuming the long run does not include huge piles of cash from European powers. Alright, Prussia has ended their bankrolling notice. That's just fine. Relations with them are still good. That means Britain's going to be not far behind. Which means I may need to be a little bit more cognizant of what I'm doing, but relations with them are still good, despite their antagonism. We've got a bunch of people moving here from Poland, which is wonderful. Population is still going up. I think our target remains 57 million. Yeah. So if we get this, we'll get an event called Multitudinous and Prestige Bump, which will be nice. We've fallen below the United States from a military perspective, but we are building up a stronger army at this time. So I'm confident about that. And we got South Italian people migrating too. Our standard of living is really high, which is solid. And part of that's just because we got relatively low population for our overall setup. I could go to consumption-based taxation. I've never actually done that. I'm getting 70,000 from consumption taxes, 74,000 from poll taxes, and 121 from income taxes. I think if I were a higher authority regime with a larger amount of luxury resources in my customs union, I would be able to live on consumption taxes. But at the moment, I don't think that's going to be viable. I've never tried it though, so it could work. We're about to get to the end of bolt action rifle here, and that'll be very nice for us. We have a new mobilization options, right? Oh, we do have a luxurious supplies option. I might go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and add all the ones we got so far to our reserve armies. Oh, actually, I don't have a source of opium, so right now I'm just going to do first aid for my armies. Because I don't want to necessarily put myself in a situation where I'm not able to get where I want to get to. There's bolt action rifle. We're going to immediately enable that for our arms industries. I know it's going to make them kind of unprofitable, but it is what it is. It always does that. You always keep your munitions and arms industries at the highest level possible because you want them to be as productive as they can be. So I think from here, we're going to be doing tooling workshops, and then we're going to be doing... Actually, I think the railways are more important than the tooling workshops, personally. We'll build all the ones in Ecuador, and then we'll put these other ones down below. And we'll see if, once Britain's done being antagonistic towards us, due to them giving us huge piles of cash, we'll see if we can go ahead and act as mercenaries for them again. Are actually a little low on bureaucracy at this point. So let's get a little bit more government admin built. Baixo Paraguay is a little bit low. And La Paz is enormously low on government admin. That's really interesting. I wonder how that happened. Maybe I'm just bad at managing countries. We'll never know the real reason. Antioquia is a little short. Other than that, we're fine from a taxation capacity perspective. We'll put 2 more in Antioquia. I really ran out my ability to, it really overran my ability to effectively tax a lot of these regions, which is a surprise. So we'll put that in first, and then we'll do the railways. So do I want to get into any foreign adventurism? I kind of want to. Let's see. How long do we have truces with Chile and Argentina? Chile, another 3 weeks. Argentina, another 31 months. Okay, we're almost at the point where we can get Chile down to being a puppet. And that'll be nice. A revolution in Dixie. This is a revolutionary Florida. So we're definitely going to stand with Florida because they are our allies, after all. It's like this is an intelligentsia government, presidential republic, landed voting. Weird. Interesting. Ooh. We could get Florida as a protectorate. Let's do it. Defensive pact with the USA. Now that is interesting. Let's go ahead and grab the 1st Brazilian Reserve Army, and we'll mobilize them. We'll put them in Brazil. I'm completely confident in their ability to win this war. So, the USA. You are a democratic republic. Parliamentary republic, wealth voting, racial segregation, separation of church and state. Right of assembly, no home affairs, dedicated police forces. Are you a power I want to be in a defensive pact with? I think probably yes. Let's do it. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if that comes out and winds up biting me in the proverbials. I don't think it will, but we'll find out. We'll find out if it winds up being a mistake. Ooh, here's Cameron. Excellent. So, that will let our arts academies produce even more art. Shazam. Establish the photographic arts completed. Captured light and shadow. The interest in photographic arts throughout Brazil has spawned many new artistic movements experimenting with the technology. It can perhaps seem too harsh to capture the reality as the human eye perceives it without any of the love or mercy of the human heart, softening the image. However, by moving that responsibility from the artist to the observer, we hope to make people aware of the contents of their own hearts. It should be a new tool for reporters everywhere, text spread for society, that's fun. It should be used to capture the beauty of Brazil, migration attraction. or we should put our efforts towards making these pictures come alive, progress towards film. I'm actually going to use the second one, this extra migration attraction all over the country, because that will make our goal of having big immigration more possible. Politics are looking pretty solid. I really, really want the intelligentsia to activate Brasilidad, but they're not currently. Maybe if I build some more universities. I could afford to build some more universities. I could definitely afford to build more universities. Yeah, we're going to build up universities. And let's build a university in Zulia. Build up the ones in Ecuador and other places, and build one in Lima. And that'll be nice. Oil. The discovery of oil in Zulia is causing people to flock to the state, hoping to find jobs in the booming industry. Gold, silver, diamonds, for what? Trinkets and finery for the gentry, glamour to hide that their time has passed? Listen, my friends, nostalgia may be gilded, but the future runs on oil. Encourage this trend, oil is the future. Caution that much may change yet in Zulia. This provides a 50% increase to migration attraction and oil industry employees. This one only 25%. We're going to go with the first one. I'm going to do this virtually every time. It's never going to change because that's just how I do it. 2 hours. Alright, so once this war is over, we'll be able to get Chile down to a puppet. And that'll be nice. So, transportation shortages. We got an electricity shortage in Pernambuco, so I need to definitely do that. Pernambuco is here. We'll pop that up to the top because that's going to take forever to build anyway. We're back where we want to be from a bureaucracy perspective. I think this is probably happening because of increasing trade. I think that's actually what's causing the increases in that cost. Oil in Miranda, wonderful. So I'm going to queue in oil wells wherever we've got them. Oh, interesting. So the private sector is actually already building those up. Coal mines, yes, we're having a shortage of transportation. Well, that's all right. We are building railways in Zulia, right? We're not. Okay, I need to be building railways in Zulia. And there's defense in depth. Wonderful. And we'll put these at the top. So defense in depth. Ooh. French people are immigrating as well. And we got war propaganda spreading. That's perfectly fine. We don't tend to use war propaganda. Like, I don't tend to research war propaganda myself. So defense in depth unlocks something that I like. Yes, siege artillery. Which we can't use yet because we don't have radio, but we're going to get there. Combustion engine will be really nice. I'd love to get cars going. And then, I think after we get radio, we'll go to electric railways. Because electric railways are truly very important. Ooh, but extra hardwood output would be absolutely bananas from pneumatic tools. So that's something I want to do. I think we'll wait on that for now. I really need to get someone in here who wants to take the children out of the factories, but it's just not happening. Can I get a reformer into power? If I could get a reformer into power in the agrarian party, that might be a thing that would allow me to do stuff. So, let's see. You're a land reformer. That's not the type of reformer I want. Communist, pacifist, traditionalist, radical. Radical? No. Pacifist, land reformer, royalist, radical, land reformer, ethno-nationalist, authoritarian, land reformer, protectionist, royalist, vanguardist, reformer. Jean Lafourcade. You are French. I assumed that based on the name, but I could have been wrong. Compulsory primary school is a good thing. Let's bring you into the country. So you'll probably start a movement. There we go. So if we do this right now, The industrialists will still be angry about it. So what we'll do, we'll give them a little more time. They still haven't forgiven us for going down to universal suffrage, but we'll give him some time. We are suppressing them. I'm probably going to give him some time to build up some popularity, and then we'll put him in charge of the rural folk, and then we'll just go from there. So we'll have that instead of a movement, and that'll be just fine. Because as you can see, the movement is very small at the moment. There's Revolutionary Florida knocked out. Chile, how would you like to be a puppet? You would? Wonderful. Florida, how would you like to be a dominion? No, I'm not going to do that. In fact, I can't, because we have a truce until 1913. Oh, well, that's fine. I'll take on your debt. I've got so much cash hanging around here. It's absurd. So that's interesting. You've got like a 1-year truce with them. That's neat. How's clothes? Clothes are still a little expensive in the market. I could try electrifying more areas so that I can have the textile mills in those zones be more productive. We'll see about that. Probably working on tooling. So how much longer until I can annex Argentina? So that'll be 11.3 infamy, which is a very manageable amount of infamy. Truce is going to last another 22 months. And then with Chile, we got basically 5 years from now. So 1917 on that, and that'll be just fine. Spain is in the midst of a revolution. If I assist the communists, all I could get's an obligation, and that's not useful to me. And anyway, France is on the other side, so I'm not really worried about it. I could go back to rivaling Spain, I suppose. We'll see. We'll see how things go. So, do I want to do a little northern aggression? Could conquer Costa Rica. They're a protectorate of Mexico, so Mexico would need to stand with me, but Mexico is not necessarily someone with huge capabilities. Because I would like to conquer Costa Rica. Maybe the United States and I can kind of meet in the middle. My attitude toward the United States is much better now that I'm in a defensive pact with them and generally feeling good about stuff. Are you in a war, USA? They're not. I could do a transfer subject, but I could just do a conquer as well. Conquer's bad, fair day. I don't think so. I think we'll wait. Nah, you know what? We'll do it. Time to get eaten. I'm not afraid of you, Mexico. I am not afraid of you. So, we'll mobilize the 4th Army, the 1st Army, and the 1st Reserve Army. And we'll put our 2 main armies on the front. Mexico is presumably going to put its armies there as well. And for now, we won't raise the conscripts of the Reserve Army. We'll leave that be for now. So who... Actually, no, we will. Let's see, so this will be an extra 20... I think I messed up this Reserve Army. I didn't put any artillery in it. It's going to need artillery. Oh no, we are hiring artillery. It's just, they're goofed. Alright, well that's alright. Oil in Uruguay, that's excellent. So again, we are up against Mexico. There are a bunch of countries that would potentially assist. None seem pretty inclined to help Mexico. So we are doing just fine. I'm not worried about anything right now. We're also the overlords of the Mosquito Kingdom, right? Yes, we are. Interesting. So we could potentially get some extra cash money that way. Russia sides with Mexico. Russia, how could you do this? How could you do this to me? Alright, so. Russia. What kind of military production methods have you got, Russia? Let's look at your capital. You've got skirmish infantry, mobile artillery, and lancers in your capital. In Moscow, you've got shrapnel artillery, skirmish infantry, and lancers. So I'm very solidly ahead of you militarily. I could pull in the USA with a war goal to take a treaty port in somewhere in Mexico. Let's see. Let's take a treaty port in Baja California. I think that makes a lot of sense from a military perspective. And that's going to give the United States a little bit of infamy. And that's fine. We'll have the USA on our side. It's interesting. Britain no longer seems interested in helping out. I need to mobilize another army, because I'm going to need armies on the 2 additional fronts that have just been created. Let's get the reserve army armied up with another commander. So we'll put the reserve army on... We'll put the 4th army on this front, just to clear them out. And then the 5th army is nearly where it's supposed to be. And I'm going to go ahead and mobilize the 3rd Brazilian army. It's going to be a significant cost, but that's really okay. We've got huge piles of cash, and if all else fails, we can just increase taxes by a little bit. So, how is military goods in our market? Munitions are pretty expensive. Guns and artillery are holding strong. So that's pretty fine. I think the private sector can build as much of that as we need. Force comparison here is looking very good, but obviously it's Russia's treaty ports that are the real issue. America should handle the northern front. It should handle its own fronts against Mexico, so I'm not worried about those. I'm going to keep the 2nd Brazilian army not mobilized at the moment, and then once Russia decides to get itself together, if Russia decides to get itself together and naval invade me, or if it's looking like this is going to be a rougher war than I thought it was going to be, then maybe we'll reconsider. This is a pretty significant loss in funds. If we go up to this, we're looking at a 92k increase. Obviously, I'm going to wait until we're below our reserve limit, because our reserve limit is 27 million, and we're way above that at this stage. Okay, we do have some Russian forces coming to these areas. 4th Brazilian Reserve Army is raising reserve battalions right now, so that's good. That plan is working as intended. We do have a little shortage of man-o'-wars, but that's not going to impact me, so I'm not that worried about it. Ooh, oxygen people moving from France. Excellent. One of the great things about having a really low number of taxes is that our taxation system is very attractive to people who want to move here from from Europe, which of course we do want. I mean, theoretically, we want people moving here from everywhere. Having people moving to the country is a good thing, wherever they're from. But the journal entry specifically says go. So that's war with Mexico, Russia, and Costa Rica. The important thing over here is that we're not actually... Oh, first Brazilian needs a new leader. You align with the armed forces. You kind of have a difficulty in your brain, but that's alright. I want you to a major general. Alright. That is a win. This one is a win. And what about over here? Over here we are winning... we're losing both of these battles, but that's alright. Force comparison here will be a lot better once we've got these 2 fronts cleared out, which I think is going to happen in good order. The USA is moving an army here. It was only half the size that we thought it was. So this army is going to the north here. And again, this thing at Russia's treaty port should sort itself out. Probably should have taken one of these treaty ports from Russia while I had the chance to add that to the war goal, but I didn't. So, you know, it happens. I had a mental breakdown. Bon appetit. Alright. They're stubbornly resisting as they panic to retreat, but I think we're all going to get there. Hey, there it goes. Alright, still a front. Still a real front. We got to be cognizant here. First Brazilian Reserve Army has a shortage of... Oh no, that's morale. It's not... They are short of org. Wonder why they're short of org. We've got enough command limit. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Here's a real battle happening. It's against the Costa Rican army, so their production methods are not nearly so solid. Force comparisons are not great over in America, but once these fronts are closed out, we'll be able to win. And I think these fronts are going to get closed out in a really good order, because we've got a significant tech advantage over the Russians, and that's just fine. We're losing convoys. Where? Coast of St. Helena, Bay of Biscay, Coast of St. Helena. Where's the Armada Nacional? It's in Indonesia. I'm such a good naval commander. I'm so good at stuff, y'all. Alright, we're going to put this guy on raiding. Is this guy good at raiding? What about this guy? Yeah, they're fine. I'm short on bureaucracy again, which is a little bit odd. We'll throw in a little bit more bureaucracy, I guess. And I'm just going to put those all the way at the top of the queue. Just to get them knocked out as soon as the railways are finished. I've lost a general, Paulo van den Kolk. He's been around here forever, I think. I recognize that last name. Better he's part of a service family. 4th Brazilian Army needs another leader. So let's see. This guy is a woodland combat expert, so he seems good. He's a Catholic positivist. Alright, enemies in panicked retreat over here. Give me the battle. Enemies almost in retreat over here. There they are. Controlled retreat, but still a retreat. But a retreat nonetheless. And we got another battle happening. These two treaty ports have taken a long time to get themselves sorted out. Let's see. Feared but not loved. Florida, owing us an obligation, it would be useful to request a propaganda campaign making the World's Fair nation a more pleasant light. It is well for a nation to be respected, feared even, but can we truly expect them to support us in the future if most Floridian children grow up hearing stories about how we will eat them if they don't behave? Everyone should remember how we came to their aid. Why when we are a nation to be feared? I'm going to go with the first one. This will reduce our infamy if they're happy about it. If they're not happy about it, it will reduce our relations. Relations are currently friendly, so we'll see what happens. It's going to be 70 days until that goes off. Our army's just finished out in the treaty port, so they're on their way to the northern front right now. And relations with the Florida Army continuing to be friendly, and our reputation is now back up to no infamy, so I'm very pleased with that outcome. Despite a good force comparison, America seems to be losing over here, but maybe that'll change soon. I am going to be putting forces in the United States in order to win that war again as soon as this situation is closed out. And just watching this battle happen. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to put these forces on what I see as the main front in Texas. Wait, not the Third Army. The Third Army needs to stay. We'll put the 4th Army back here. Alright, the 3rd Army can go abroad. So, that should mean that all of this occupation by Mexico of the United States should sort itself out. Our fleet is in the Bay of Biscay at this point, so we should be... Intercepting is a... makes you go after enemy fleets. Yes, it does. Alright, so that should be fine. Go after their raiding fleets and raid their convoys, because they gotta send convoys through here. We're back in the black in terms of convoys, so I'm pretty pleased about that. Also, the Bay Company won the war. How much influence is this costing us? 100. It's not ideal. North German mass immigration. Wonderful. We're getting a lot of mass immigration, and I'm very pleased about that overall. I'm hoping that that leads to us being able to continue to grow our population to the point where we can reach our goal. Taking over Costa Rica, I think, is going to increase the population maximum that we're looking for, because I believe the maximum that we're looking for is going to scale with the number of states. Everyone would accept this peace deal if we got everything we wanted, so let's go ahead and propose that and get this war sorted out. Wonderful. Let's get incorporating Costa Rica. So it was 57 million before. Let's validate. Oh no, it's still 57. Interesting. Maybe it'll take a week to turn over. Hell on Earth event. You know, we're going to launch that inquiry. ABLI. Always be launching inquiries. Extra Brazilian army. We'll just get rid of it. Demobilize. That force, this army does not need to exist. And it's still 57 million, so it might go up once we've incorporated Costa Rica. I'm not sure. In the meantime, let's reset the production method. We've got a bunch of places where we don't have enough power to power electric sewing machines, but I think now's the time to build those power plants. So, let me take another look at that. This is Guerra and Pernambuco. We already did them. Minas Gerais, Sao Paulo, Baixo Paraguay, and La Paz. And then Miranda and Zulia. Oh no, these are the ones that are not on electric. That was dumb. Wasn't paying attention. Alright. Don't need more barracks in Costa Rica, that's for sure. Alright, so, what do I want? We are good to go with our gold reserves. Fine. So, what are the other areas where we've got textile mills? Paraná, Bahia, Paraíba, and Rio Grande do Sul. Rio Grande do Sul, Paraná, Bahia, not Pará, Paraíba. Does Pará have any textile mills? It doesn't. Okay, well, we don't need a power plant here then. Next on the list, we have Ica, Arequipa, Cajamarca. Ica, Arequipa, Cajamarca. Ica, Arequipa, Cajamarca. I know this is a little bit not the greatest content on Earth, but I do gotta learn these things. Cundinamarca and Bolivar. Alright, that's easy peasy. And then we can get the rest of these textile mills over onto a production method that produces a lot more clothes, and that'll be very good for us overall. Because we gotta have more clothes in the market. There's automatic machine guns. Wonderful. So we're going to set our automatic machine guns on for all of our armies, and that's going to seriously strengthen them. Make them a lot more dangerous. We are a little bit short on cash. We're not so short on cash that I actually am concerned over it, though. So I'm going to currently let it slide. We are under a temporary authority penalty, and we are under and we are at lowest possible taxes, so we could easily increase these to make up for lost cash later on in life. Great Britain is still bankrolling us, I believe. Relations are friendly, they're cautious. I think that's over. Yes, so we're down to now only having a bankroll from Austria. So we should look for opportunities to get another bankroll. Russia will not. Russia, are you cautious? You're wary. Alright, well, might be able to devote some influence to that a little later. Florida, would you like to be a dominion? Wonderful. So it could go immediately after Nicaragua. That's a better color. They have an alliance with Chile and a defensive pact with Honduras. No available plays. I can't conquer because relations are too good, probably. Yes. 14.5 infamy if I do this. So, let's see. What am I currently doing? I'm currently bankrolling the HBC. I don't need to be doing that anymore. I'm currently improving relations with Denmark. I don't really need to be doing that anymore. Relations with Denmark are good enough. So let's damage relations with Nicaragua a bit, and we'll continue to move north. I know I said I was only going to be the hegemon over all of South America, but, you know, temptations exist in all directions for all leaders of all kinds. That said, I am actually way over the episode length limit. This one has been really, really long. So it's about time to put a pin in it. We had ourselves a nice little war. We continued to build up our economy. Next time we're going to go after annexing Argentina and Chile into Brazil and finally forming up our completed United States of South America, however we want to do it. It's still just the Empire of Brazil because we're still a monarchy. But if we become a republic, which we might do, we'll see. We'll see how things go. We'll end up going that way. But for the moment, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun as well. And I will see you on the other side.